on at all times if possible. Please mute your microphone if not talking. Ensure that you have a quiet, non-distracting background, and the renaming etiquette is as follows. Role takers, you start with a hashtag, the role you're taking, followed by the name. Toastmasters who are visiting, you will start with your name and then suffix it with the name of the club that you're coming from. For guests, so that we are able to know that you are a guest, you could start with the name guest and then follow with your name. Thank you very much. And at this point in time, I'd like to welcome a few guests just to gauge their expectations of our meeting today. And I will start with Lucy Njeri. Maybe if you could unmute and tell us where you're joining us from and what you're looking forward to this particular evening. Over to you, Lucy.
Hi, everyone. I don't know if my background is a bit noisy, but I just saw the notification in our downtown group and I decided to just join and listen in. I'm from downtown. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Lucy Njeri from Downtown Toastmasters. We hope to see you again and again. Waruguru, over to you. As she prepares, maybe we could hear from Gladwell Muiti, President of Juja Toastmasters. Over to you.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My name is Gladwell Muiti, President, Juja Toastmasters. This is my first time joining an online meeting. I am excited to be here. It's going to be an amazing experience. And thank you so much, Kevin, for the invite. Good evening.
You are always welcome, Gladwell, and we hope to see you again and again, possibly even taking a role in Watabaruku. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I am seeing a guest, Jacinta Mureithi from Downtown Toastmasters. Over to you, Jacinta.
Good evening, Toastmasters. Thank you, President Kevin, for welcoming me to Watabaruku. I'm not new. I attended one other meeting you had, I think 1 or 2 weeks ago, but I'm happy to be back. It's always a great pleasure to be with you. Thank you.
Absolutely amazing. Good to hear from you. Good to see you once again. Hoping to see you more and more times. And to wrap it up, I will welcome Tabitha Kiendi from Hill Toastmasters. Let us hear from you and what you expect from our meeting this evening.
Good evening, Mr. President. It is my first time joining Watabaruku Advanced Bilingual, and I'm glad to be here, and I really want to experience and know how this advanced evaluation takes place. I hear it's divided into 3 parts, and I think I'm just, the curious appetite in me is what brought me here to understand how exactly this is done. Thank you so much.
Absolutely amazing. We hope that you will learn from the sharp, crisp evaluations that we are in Watabaruku best known for, and hoping to see you again and again. Forwards and onwards, at this point in time, I would like to welcome our TMOD of the day. She is the founding president of the very fun, fresh and focused current Toastmasters in 2019-2020. She served as Area 4 Director in 2021-2022. She also was the TLI, Toastmaster Leadership Institute Chair in the year 2022-2023. She was the TCON Gala Dinner Chair in 2022, and she hopes to achieve her DTM by TCON 2025, so help her God. She is the mother of 2 amazing boys and a swimming enthusiast. And our Toastmaster of the day is no other than, drum rolls please, Toastmaster Arether Wanjiru of Watabaruku Advanced Bilingual Toastmasters Club. Welcome, Toastmaster Arether Wanjiru.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, for that warm welcome. Oh, DTM Manor, I love the balloons that are flying there. I need to learn that. Oh, I see Kevin's claps. Thank you. Thank you very much for that warm welcome. I see you, Kevin, and I see you, DTM Manohar. I see Kevin and I see Fatma. I don't see the rest. Are you really here? If you can, let's have your videos on. Thank you, Dan Odero, so that we can have an interactive session. I see we are only 14 in this room, but we are going to have an amazing, amazing time. Now, I want to share something in the chat, something very simple. Ikigai, that is our theme for this evening. It's amazing when you see that word out there. Depending on where you come from or what region, it could be, oh, is it an Ikigai? Is it Gai? Like in Kikuyu, we say God is Gai. Like, what is it all about? I first came across this concept in Toastmasters, and I'm telling you, Toastmasters, I've been a member of Toastmasters for for 5 years, this September that just passed. I've been a Toastmaster for 5 years, and one of our club mentors back then, Toastmaster David Amala, brought this concept to Toastmasters, and I was so curious. What is he talking about? I just came to learn that it's a Japanese philosophical terminology that basically means, what is your purpose? There's a book out there by, I believe it's a religious book by one Mr. Warren, and it talks about a purpose-driven life. And when I sit and think about my purpose, sometimes I wonder, have I come across my purpose? Am I living in my purpose? Sometimes as human beings, we wait for a specific thing to come through and say, Vam, this is the thing that I am meant to be doing. What if I said, if you align several different things, you will continue to live in your purpose? Now, the Japanese philosophy of Ikigai, I just want to tell you a little bit about it. I believe many of you, or some of you, may have read the book. Just by a show of hands, how many have read Ikigai? Show of hands, or at least heard of it, heard of the terminology? Thank you. I've seen some hands. All right, most hands have come up. And it is the Japanese art of combining your passion and talents. There's a congruence, and I'll share a figure with you later on. So it's a concept that unites the joy of life with a sense of purpose. The term is a combination of Japanese words iki, to live, and gai, to reason, which together signify a reason to live. While there is no direct translation of Ikigai in English, the concept encapsulates the idea of finding joy and life through joy in life through purpose in a very unique way. So there's 4 key concepts of Ikigai. I'll talk about what you love as the first concept. Think about it. What do you love? Whatever it is that you love, can you be able to type it in the chat? Yeah, let's talk about what you love as I introduce our role takers of the evening. This evening, we will have 2 amazing speeches. And as you have heard, we are an advanced club, so we do have an interesting way of evaluating. We will continue through the meeting as I introduce the different role takers. So the first segment will be our prepared speeches, and then we shall have the table topics segment, and then we shall have our evaluations and reports. Now, introducing our grammarian of the evening. Our grammarian of the evening is Toastmaster Dan Odero. I've known Dan for a couple of years. He was one of the people who came to help get current Toastmasters to launch. Before we formed current Toastmasters, the current Toastmasters, there was a failed launch years before then. However, when Dan came and held our hands, we were able to be the club that we are at this moment. Now, I'll allow you, Dan, to continue introducing the word of the day, and then I will share what you shared with me about what resonates with you in terms of the Ikigai. Over to you, Dan Odero.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day, IPP founder, president, and member of Watabaruku. This evening, morning, or afternoon, it's my pleasure to be the grammarian of the day. As the grammarian of the day, I will be looking out for the good and not so good use of the English language and comment on that when I'm called upon. I also have a role to introduce the word of the day. And the word of the day today is, give me a moment to share it. The word of the day is ardent. Ardent, and ardent is a word from the usage. These are examples of it. Ardent is word of the day, which means very enthusiastic or passionate, an ardent supporter of the cause of education. A second meaning is burning and glowing, ardent flames. Now, the use of the word in a normal, some examples are, she made an ardent defense of free speech. They would not still be here without the ardent support of their fans. To make it lock-in, we have, I was an ardent admirer of his work. Since then, he has developed an ardent passion for the instrument. I urge all members to make use of this word, and I hope we ardently use it throughout the meeting this evening. Thank you, and back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day, Aretha.
Thank you, Toastmaster Dan Odero, for sharing that ardent word of the day. Now, some of the rules that Dan resonates with. The rule of Ikigai that resonates with Dan is, in order to deal real justice, we must stay active and never retire, as we have a duty to leave this world better than we found it. He is an ardent believer of the saying, I am my brothers and sisters' keeper. So the rule that resonates with Dan is rule number 1. And I will share those rules in the chat in a little bit for those who may not be in the group. Rule number 1, according to Ikigai, is stay active, don't retire. Toastmasters, moving on to our next role taker of the evening, we do have our timekeeper, Toastmaster Maggie Waithiru. Over to you, Maggie.
Hello, everyone. Lovely to see so many faces, new and old, not necessarily the age, just the familiarity. In my role today, I have the duty of ensuring that we run the event on time or our meeting on time. I will time the prepared speeches, I will time the evaluations, and I'll also time the segment as well as the table topics. So for the table topics, I'll start in the order that I see them in front of my screen. For the table topics is 1 to 2 minutes. You will see the yellow, which I will show you in a few minutes, at 1 minute, 30 seconds. You will see the red at 2 minutes, and you can continue speaking until 2 minutes, 30 seconds. For the evaluations, you will see the green at 2 minutes. You will see the yellow at 2 minutes 30, and you will see the red at 3 minutes. You're allowed to speak for another 30 seconds, in which case you should finish at 3 minutes, 30 seconds. For the prepared speeches, 5 to 7 minutes is what we have in the agenda. You will see the green at 5 minutes, you will see the yellow at 6 minutes, and you will see the red at 7 minutes, after which we ask you not to speak beyond the 7 minutes, 30 seconds. My screen is going to change. I will cover my screen, I'll cover my camera, and you will see these screens. You will see my background, so you'll need to pin me. As a speaker, it's your duty to keep an eye on the timer. So for the green, you will see that. No, you will not see that, I've lied. You will see that because it's the Watabaruku, but I will hide my camera. You will see yellow, and then you will see red, based on the timings that I have shared. Please keep an eye on my screen to make sure that you don't go over time, which will help us to finish on time. I will give my report when called upon. However, I will share the timings in the chat as the segments are proceeding. So keep an eye on my screen. Thank you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you very much, our timekeeper, Maggie. And when I asked Maggie, generally in the group, which of the above rules do you resonate with? She resonates with all of them. And what are they? I've posted them in the chat. Stay active, don't retire. Take it slow. Don't fill your stomach. Now, I know Maggie is a wellness coach, so I need to understand, don't fill your stomach how? Can I, as an African, eat and not fill my stomach? I really want to know how to go about that. And number 4, surround yourself with good friends. Now, Toastmasters, we also have a table topics master this evening, and we do have a general evaluator. So allow me to, Mr. Kevin Kimbio, tell us about your table topic session briefly, and then I will, also, of course, share what you shared with me later on.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. As the table topics master, I will welcome participants and invite them to respond to a surprise question or topic by speaking for just 1 or 2 minutes. The goal is to practice organizing your thoughts and delivering a coherent response under pressure. This is an essential skill in any communication setup. This session will allow you to practice your skills in extemporaneous speaking. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, our table topics master, our president. Our general evaluator for this evening is Toastmaster Nelly Ayodo. Nelly, briefly tell us what your role will be.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My role today is to evaluate and evaluate everything that happens in the meeting. I will be calling on a team to assist me to give feedback to the speakers. I will evaluate the preparation of the meeting, the organization, the delivery, the enthusiasm, the observation and performance of all duties. At the end of the meeting, I will give a report. Back to you, Madam Toastmasters.
Thank you, our general evaluator. Before we move to our prepared speeches, I had asked a question. What do you love? I see that only 3 people love something. Everybody else, DTA Manohar loves long distance running. The long distance driving, sorry. Did I say running? Driving. Wow, I resonate with that. I love driving too. Well, evaluator number 1, Kevin Rubia, resonates with pizza. And Tabitha Kiendi resonates with storytelling. Let me see if there's one more. Yes, Toastmaster Fatma resonates with smiling. She loves smiling, and I do too. In fact, as she comes on stage, allow me to share what she responded. She resonates with smiling because a genuine smile can be reassuring. It wipes off the worry and brightens the room. Now, isn't that profound? I don't know how hectic your week has been. It is Friday evening here in East Africa. And many of us try not to do meetings on Friday evenings because you want to be elsewhere, or you just want to be sitting in a room, relaxing, or you want to be elsewhere with your friends. But this smile at Watabaruku will make your evening better. So thank you for making that choice to come to Watabaruku Bilingual Advanced Toastmasters Club this evening. Now, to introduce Toastmaster Fatma is evaluator number 1, Kevin Rubia. Over to you, Kevin Rubia, to give us the purpose and the title of Fatma's speech. Over to you.
Much obliged, Toastmaster of the day. Fatma is embarking on the Pathway Mentor Program. She will deliver the speech on mentoring, whose purpose is for her to apply her mentoring skill to a short-term yet ardent mentoring assignment. She will share some aspect of her experience as a Toastmasters mentor and will do so in 5 to 7 minutes. Her speech title is Uplifting Others. Uplifting Others, Fatma Amio, Uplifting Others.
Life is balanced. Just like a coin, it has two sides. Fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests, there are those who thrive in spontaneity, and there are those who are ardent planners. Within the meticulous planning group, there are still two sides. Those that plan and execute, then there's us. Those who plan, who recheck their plans, and ensure that the plans are well planned. This has been my Achilles heel. I have always wondered, how do I uplift others in the club, yet I don't have as much experience? My mentor advised me to sign up for the Pathways Mentor Program, which I did. But remember, plan and a plan to plan and to recheck the plan, that is how I ended planning. So I went ahead, filled out the checklist, tick, and then shelved it aside. This Toastmasters year, our district theme rejuvenated that challenge. All in. I remembered that I need to support my vice president education. So I went back, retrieved my file, checked. This time round, I gave her a call. I think I'm ready to be assigned a mentor for a short assignment. We all know she was elated. As ardent Toastmasters, one of our responsibility is to uplift others. This evening, I would like to share 3 lessons that I have learned. The lessons can be summed up as ORS. And those in the Kenyan context, no, not the oral rehydrating solution. O stands for open-minded. Remember my bias of planning and seeing things from my perspective. So when I was assigned this new member who was very clear, they were ready, they had been a guest for far too long. So I was happy. I just forgot the 2 categories, spontaneity vis-a-vis planners. I felt my heart breaking when I saw my mentee had signed up for a speaker role in the WhatsApp platform. He forgot to tell me. I was crushed. I quickly had to adjust. Come on, Fatma, it's never about you. So I picked up my phone and called him and asked, we have 7 days. Do you have a speech? He said, no. Have you signed up? No. Not yet? You don't have a path? What do you mean? So do you have any resources? No, I'm still figuring out. So I quickly had to have adjust and have an open mind. So I shared resources and reminded him nicely, anytime you have a bit of time, let me know. I can help you practice. Open mind. The R stands for reflective questions. I since learned to turn my sentences from statements to questions. Remember their level of unpreparedness for an icebreaker? So I was wondering, and it was a physical meeting. So I was asking him, are you sure you're ready? It's in a physical meeting. It's a little bit different. He didn't seem bothered. Then I reminded myself, maybe I need to adjust my statements to questions and ask, how do you feel? And I ensured that immediately after the meeting, I reached out How was it for you? He was so happy. You know why? He received a standing ovation. He received a badge for icebreaker. He just told me, I'm ready for the next. The third is S, and S stands for supportive environment. Many at times, when you are the mentor, you need to create the environment, make it right. Don't be judgmental. We all grow differently. I since learned to be accommodative. At times, I'd need to squeeze my lunch hour break. At times, it's early in the morning. At times, it's late in the evening. It didn't matter. And there are instances when I went ahead to schedule a meeting, and you know what? My mentee didn't show up. So what was I supposed to do? Just leave the environment to be conducive and hope that one day when they get time, they will realize that I'm still here, still ready to uplift you. Fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests, Maya Angelou reminds us that if I have seen Father, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants. I challenge each one of you on this call to uplift someone else. As you're uplifting them, please inculcate those 3 lessons I have shared. Have an open mind. Reflective questions always work. And please remember, you are the supportive environment. I challenge you, please let us uplift each other. And I'd like to recognize the presence of one member within this call, Toastmaster Shabim. Thank you for making time. I really appreciate it because when you reached out, these 3 lessons I had already learned, and therefore I was willing to say, Shamim, come on board, ready to uplift you, so that then we also learn to reciprocate. Back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you, Fatma, for that uplifting speech on the mentorship journey. Isn't it interesting how the mentor-mentee relationship can be strange yet uplifting? Thank you, Fatma, for the ORS. Keep an open mind, have reflective questions, and be supportive. We appreciate you, Fatma, for also uplifting us this evening with your smile. Now, I had posed a question earlier on. What do you love? Kevin Mwandoe says he loves working out. Jacinta Mureithi loves traveling and taking nature walks. Dan Odero loves cooking. Wow. In fact, Maggie also loves eating, so they can remain friends together with Kevin, Rubia, Daktari. Amazing. We will continue to engage each other. All right, Nelly loves reading, and Eric loves traveling, mountaineering, and endurance sports. So I see Eric, Kevin, Mwandoe, there you have a partner in gymming and working out. And I believe also, Maggie, you love running. I know that we have that Beyond Toastmasters where we are supposed to hook up and probably attend the Stanchart Marathon. 2026, Maggie, I will be ready. All right. Moving on to our second speaker of the evening. And I see he is ready to rumble. Toastmaster Eric Kariuki. Toastmaster Eric, because I did not get your DM, I think only the Kevins were DMing me throughout the day. Tell us, what do you love? Just unmute and tell us what you love before we bring your evaluator to introduce you.
Thank you.
All right, yeah, I see you posted, but go ahead, please.
Yes, so thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day. As I mentioned, I love traveling, mountaineering, endurance sports. I'm an ardent triathlete and have just come back from one last weekend in Kilifi. And I'll definitely be joining you when you're doing your 21 kilometers at the Stanchart Marathon. Back to you, Toastmasters.
I'm glad we engaged. Did you say triathlon? Triathlete? Great, great, great. I will be side chatting you because I may have an upcoming triathlete in my house. My 16-year-old is an avid swimmer, and I believe he may get into the triathlon area. Now, to introduce Toastmaster Eric is our evaluator who is, all right. Do we have Toastmaster Ali Makori? Or am I mistaken? He's our evaluator. Ali Makori, are you in the room? I know we have our content evaluators, or do I just go ahead to DTM Manohar?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for that correction. So introducing our second speaker of the evening is DTM Manohar. DTM Manohar, I'm interested to know where you're logging in from, please. And then you can go ahead and introduce Eric.
I am logging in from Hyderabad in India.
Welcome. In Kenya, we say karibu sana. Over to you to introduce our second speaker.
Distinguished Toastmaster Eric Mawangi is going to be speaking from using presentation software. The purpose of this project is for the member to introduce or review basic presentation software strategies for creating and using slides to support or enhance the speech. The purpose of this speech is for the member to demonstrate his understanding of how to use presentation software, including the creation of slides and incorporating the technology into a speech. And the speech title is When in Rome, and timing 5 to 7 minutes. Our best wishes to you, Toastmaster Eric.
Thank you. I will begin by sharing my screen so that you can join me on this wonderful journey. But in front of me is a sumptuous plate of carbonara pasta. I don't know, like myself, you are experiencing a sensation in your belly. Mine is rumbling at the moment. Having not eaten and looking forward to this meeting to have a meal. But today I'm not going to talk about a plate of pasta. I'm going to talk about my experience and the journey of becoming an ardent linguist and communicator. A few months ago, I had the pleasure of traveling around Europe, and I landed in the Eternal City, Rome, the Imperial Roman city. Exhausted from my trip, I was craving to eat something. I trooped down an alley and found a beautiful restaurant that was offering the 4 traditional pastas of Rome, one being the carbonara. I sat on the table, I waited for the waiter to bring me my plate. He presented it, beautiful plate full of pasta and cheese. At first, I looked back at him wondering, is this all I have to eat? A plate of only pasta sprinkled with cheese? Okay. While in Rome, do as the Romans do. I sat down, quickly ate my meal, felt I had eaten one of the most delicious pastas I've ever eaten. Unfortunately, despite the meal being wonderful, I felt it was incomplete. Because as I was growing up in Kenya, we learned the 3 ABCs of eating a balanced meal. You have to have your starch, your veggies, and some proteins. Those were missing in my plate. So I take this analogy in relation to language. When we begin learning language as toddlers, our first words often are mama, dada. We're always looking to fill our verbal mouthpieces with words that have meaning. But so we begin as a tabla rasa and then build a sketch of words as we grow up. First, learning the grammar, the punctuations, learning what a verb is, what an adjective is, learning when to use the preposition. This is beautiful words. They help us communicate to the world outside about who we are, our emotions, and about the reality that we experience. Language goes beyond a 2D picture. It needs color, it needs vitality, it needs verb. And that's why we're incorporating language, something called beautiful, colorful language, figure of speech. There are many figures of speech that we use in order to add verb and color to our language. A figure of speech, for those who might have forgotten, is a word or phrase that intentionally deviates from the straightforward language use or literal meaning and produces a rhetorical or intensified effect where emotionally connected to the message, it's aesthetically pleasing, and it's intellectually jarring. Ask us to think more, to feel and to fit in. I'm sure a good example is from one of my best authors called Charles Dickens, where he says, "It was the best of times, it is the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom, it was the age of foolishness. It was the epoch of belief, it was the epoch of incredulity. It was a season of light, it was a season of darkness. It was the spring of hope, and it was the winter of despair." This is an extract from the opening line of A Tale of Two Cities. And you can see how he is able to use contradiction or paradox in how he communicates language, how he invites us to see ourselves in a time that we were not part of, the French Revolution. I'm sure there are many other tools, other types of figures of speech. In fact, I've listed for you 17 of them. I'm told in the English language they can go all the way to 27, but I could only briefly include only this 17 examples. Today, I do not want to talk about the 17. I want to talk about specific figure of speech or type language, which is called the anapodoton. Anapodoton. It comes from the Greek word anapodosis, which means without main clause. It's a literary technique that allows us to use a subordinate clause to suggest or imply the main clause. I don't know whether any of you have run into this stylistic or device. Show of hands, I know I cannot see you, but I hope if you can't, do not worry. I'm going to explain what it means. So anapodotum, simple examples would be, when in Rome, maybe somebody can open the mic and say, when in Rome?
Hey, Roman.
Do what the Romans do.
Do as the Romans do. If the shoe fits,
Wear it.
Buy it.
Speak of the devil,
And he appears.
and he doth appear. And lastly, pigs had wings, they could fly. These are examples where I only need to say when in Rome, and you already as an audience can figure out the conclusion without having me to say it. That is an example of anapodotum. So this comes from an idea of the brevity law, which was introduced by George Kingsley Zip, which is also known as the Zip law of abbreviation, which says that the more frequently a word is used, the shorter that word tends to be. So we often, for more common known sayings and phrases and words, we tend to truncate them in order because meaning is already understood by our audience. I remember in high school, my name is Eric, and they would, which is only four letters, but they would still reduce it to a row. So this is how we use anapodotum. So when to use it or not to use it? Well, the reality is that we do tend to use it. I do not remember the last time I had a word hippopotamus or rhinoceros. We tend to more tally to rhino or hippo. So this is my last tip for you. There's a special kind of beauty that exists which is born in language, of language and for language. Let's incorporate as much beauty into it as we communicate and improve our communication skills. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Eric. for that speech. I have learned so much. In fact, I want to attempt to say that word, anapodotum. Thank you for teaching me something that I didn't know. Toastmasters and guests, we have now concluded our 2 speeches, and we are moving on to the fun table topics session or table topics segment. Before I bring in our table topics master, I want to check if there was anything else shared about what we love. Now, remember, when we spoke about Ikigai, one of the things that we spoke about was that it is a merger of 4 things. What you love. Number 2 is what the world needs. Toastmaster Eric, I think the world needs more education on these stylistic devices of the English language. I mean, we say that we do have a command of the English, formerly the Queen's language to the King's language, depending on our audience. What the world needs is more education for people out there. As a Toastmaster today, what do you think the world needs? Do you think we need better healthcare? Do you think we need better AI technology to sort out some of the things that are eating at us? Please type out in the chat and tell me what you think the world needs. By the end of this meeting, I believe we will leave this. We will become better people because we will have a bit of knowledge of what the world needs. Now, introducing our table topic master of the evening is our president, Mr. Kevin Mwandoe. When I asked him what he resonates with, this is what he says. He resonates with rule number 1, keep moving at all costs. I see many people here resonating with moving, exercising, doing something to keep healthy. But to you, Toastmaster Kevin, to give us the table topic session. And just before you come in, do we need to vote or do we need to have a vote? I know you are also our SAA.
Yes. Kevin Rubia, are the polls ready?
Yes.
All right. Let us have our poll segment where we vote for our better speaker. And the poll is up and running. Please vote and let us know how many seconds we have. Kevin, once you get at least 70, 80%.
We are at 73%. We have reached 80%.
Okay, so I believe we can close the poll. Thank you. So what does the world need? What the world needs now is love, sweet love. Thank you, Dean Robertson, for that. Fatma says the world needs more compassion. Shiro says the world needs more kindness. Shiro is my namesake. And then, yes, Maggie says there are many big words today. Well done, team. All right, over to you, Table Topics Master. Kevin, take it away.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the evening, Arether Wanjiru. Thank you for welcoming me. Once again, as I promised, I am back with a series of questions that will give you the tools to sharpen your skills in extemporaneous speaking. I will be asking a question, and I expect you to answer that question by speaking in between 1 to 2 minutes. All right, and let's take a deep dive in. First question, what was a pivotal moment in your life that changed your perspective on success? It's an Ikigai theme. What was a pivotal moment in your life that changed your perspective on success? And I will take this question to, I will invite Dean Robertson to speak to this question. Over to you, Dean Robertson.
Well, thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master. A turning point for me when it comes to success is realizing that success is really just your perspective. It is about what habits have you created to reach your goal? And for that matter, what is that goal that you have? Is it to build a business? Is it to save some money? But a lot of times people look at some things as being failures, but success means a lot of things to different people. It's really based on what are your goals and what are your habits. And so for me, the turning point was when I realized that it's what I want to achieve and it's my personal success. So therefore, I'm not looking for approval from someone else to tell me if I'm successful or not. If I'm reaching my goals, if I'm doing the things that I need to do to accomplish what I want to accomplish, then therefore I'm successful. So I think the turning point for me is realizing when you realize that you're successful, then that's when success happens.
Thank you so much, Dean Robertson, for your response. Indeed, when we fall, when we fail on our goals, sorry, how do they say it? When we fail to rise to our goals, we fall to our systems. All right, the second question, what challenge you faced? What is a challenge you faced that ultimately led to personal growth? And this question, I will direct it to Lucinjeri. Over to you, Lucinjeri.
My apologies, but I'm in a bit of a noisy place.
Okay, I will take that question and direct it to Beryl Otieno. Over to you, Beryl. Let me repeat the question. What is a challenge you faced that ultimately led to personal growth? Okay, if Beryl is not available, she confirms she's not in a position to speak. I will invite Shamim Ali.
Do I need to on my camera?
If possible, yes.
I'm not camera ready. Please allow me to speak without on my camera.
No problem.
Please repeat the question.
What is a challenge that you faced that ultimately led you to personal growth?
One significant challenge I have faced is public speaking anxiety. For example, the first time I had to present in front of an audience at work, I was overwhelmed with fear. However, I pushed myself to conclude my speech to the end. I later started, after I realized that I have a problem with speaking, I started practicing regularly. And one of the things that I did was to join Toastmasters. Being in Toastmasters has taught me resilience and the importance of stepping out of my comfort zone. I've been able to grow and walked out of my comfort zone with each subsequent speaking and with each opportunity that comes across. Finally, I've been able to boost my confidence and I've also enhanced my ability to connect with the audience and also to network with others. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Shamim, and congratulations on your Toastmasters journey. Okay, to our third question, which I will also type in the chat, and the question reads, what is a memorable trip that you took that left a lasting impact on you? And this question, I will direct it to Gladwell Mweti, President of Juja Toastmasters. Over to you.
Good evening once again. A memorable trip is when I visited Cape Town in South Africa. It was amazing. There were beautiful sceneries, Table Mountain, the wine farming, the production of it, the beautiful town. It's amazing how it is small but very beautiful, very clean. And that is where we went with the love of my life, who is now my husband.
and the father of my children. So it is quite memorable for me. Thank you, and back to you, Table Topics Master.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Gladwell, for sharing with us your experience all the way from South Africa. The next question is, share a story about a mentor or role model who significantly influenced your life. And this question, I will direct it to Winnie C. Share a story about a mentor or role model who significantly influenced your life.
All right. I will talk about a role model that I admired from a distance, and this will be Caroline Mutuku. She went into radio when she was 25. I was probably just about to go to high school. In all my life, I never had someone so fluent in speaking. I never met or heard of someone who's so bold and who spoke her mind. Caroline Mutuku, for anyone who's not in Kenya, is a media personality who used to be a broadcast journalist, not journalist, but a broadcast presenter in one of the leading FM stations in Nairobi. I liked how she spoke, the values that she had. She didn't fear any person. She simply gave her opinion. She handled interview sessions of politicians on the radio. And what I really liked about her basically is just how she spoke. I was privileged to be in one of her female forums when I was 26 years old. And at that time, I got introduced to financial literacy. And one of the things that she said is, even as much as she was earning, she wasn't spending money every single day to buy lunch, which costs about $3 or Kenya shillings 300. Yet you will see interns who are not even being paid go out every single day to eat out and come back with toothpicks in their mouth at 2 p.m. Now, I learned financial literacy from Caroline Mutuku from a distance. I would say that she has been one of my mentors and role models in her public speaking, in her financial literacy, and in her values and standing for what she believes in. Back to you, Table Topics Master of the Day.
Thank you so much, Winnie, for that amazing story on how mentorship does impact us. Timer, I will ask if I have time for one more question.
The timer has put the red card up. No, we are done with time. Apologies.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone who participated, and thank you all. Back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you very much, our Table Topics Master, Kevin. That was an amazing session. We appreciate you. Thank you, Timekeeper Maggie. I had not seen your side chat, but thank you for that. Now, one of the things that we need in the world from Nelly Ayodo is peace and understanding. And the other one was, that one I had already read, the world needs more kindness. Now, moving on to our evaluation segment. At Toastmasters, we say feedback is the breakfast of champions. Before we move on to feedback, we shall be having our quick round of votes. Over to you, our SAA, Kevin, to please bring up the chat bring up the polls so that we can vote. We had Dean Robertson, DM, we had Shamim, Ali, Gladwell Mwiti, and Winnie C. Let us know when you're at 80%, Kevin.
Indeed, Madam Toastmaster of the Day, currently at 44%, but votes are coming in ardently. %55%, we just need a few of us to vote. maybe someone is eating and cannot vote. We are now at 66. I think we can stop there.
Great. Moving on to our evaluation segment, where I will be giving 30 seconds because Kevin is our first evaluator. And Kevin will be evaluating our first speaker's content. Our first speaker this evening was Toastmaster Fatma. Now, when I asked Kevin what Ikigai rule resonates with him, that is Dr. Kevin Rubia, what he said is that he does resonate with giving thanks. And he added a quote that every cloud has a silver lining. Isn't that amazing? All right, Kevin, I hope you are ready to rumble. I know you are born ready. Over to you to give us the evaluation of Fatma's speech, and thank you for wearing many hats. Remember that a Toastmaster wears many hats, and that is what Kevin is doing today. Over to you.
Thank you. And on that note of hat wearing, I'll also evaluate the delivery, as our delivery evaluator isn't around at the moment. That means I'll go for 6 minutes if I'm not wrong, but I'll do my best to keep time. Fatma, congratulations. It is one thing to go through Toastmasters as a protege. It is a greater thing to now give the gifts that you got to others as a mentor. My first congratulatory note is for you on you taking this Pathway Mentor program. It is not a path that is taken by many of us. Work well done. That leads me to the first point. You began by giving us a story of how you are an ardent planner. You even gave us, you showed us through a prop by using your file. What made this story impactful was that later you told us how you had to be open-minded, meaning that story came back as a recall, which is the tool that I am letting us know today, Toastmasters and guests. Recall is an art where you start something and bring it later in your story to demonstrate your point. That made your content come full circle. Secondly, in your content, I liked the fact that you used mnemonics. Whenever we're giving an informative speech, ladies and gentlemen, and anyone in between, it's important to try to make it palatable to your audience. And that can be by way of mnemonics like ORS, which is relatable to many of us for oral rehydration salts. But in this case, we have open-minded, we have reflective and supportive. That makes your speech memorable for days to come. Congratulations. When it came to your content, I feel what you could have worked on was your conclusion. Indeed, you had a definite purpose to let us know about your mentorship journey as a mentor, and you had an opening that was clear with smooth transitions to your body with your 3 main points. In your conclusion, I noted, though, that you brought some aspect, and probably this was impromptu, when you talked about Shamim. I felt that you are giving out her a shout out. However, I was wondering if she was your actual mentee, but I remember your mentee, I think, was male. So it made me a bit confused. Remember, in a conclusion, bringing something new may not necessarily add value to the speech. Feel free to close with impact as you did by giving us that call to action without adding anything extra. On that note, Uplifting others would have been more specific by mentioning the name of your mentee, in my opinion, as it was one person, not necessarily others. And I know the whole idea was for us to uplift others. That's just a side note to make it more personal by talking about them, should you want to. Moving on to your delivery, one way in which you excelled with vocal variety is through dialogue. Whenever we introduce dialogue, friends, in our speeches, you get a chance to vary your pitch, your pace, your tone, and your volume. Have you written your speech? No. Have you taken your path? No. That rise and fall and exchange of words between Fatma and her mentee was a masterclass in vocal variety. Well done. Secondly, as I had mentioned earlier, was your use of props. When you started with the coin and also later showed us a file, you gave us images that stick in our mind, making your speech more memorable and adding variety to it. After all, we are in an online platform and we may not be there to interact with you. That helps you engage more with your audience, and I feel that I was engaged through that. Consider adjusting your camera level so much so that your eyes are at the same level with the camera, as that is the best way we can engage with you, eye contact. When it is slightly below you, it may look as if you're looking down on us, which may be uncomfortable for some of us, I included. That is a summary of your content and delivery. I liked how you used the recall technique and mnemonics to make us remember what you said. I also like in your delivery how you use dialogue to demonstrate vocal variety and props to make your story more memorable. In future, let us work on making sure that the eye contact is at par throughout the speech and that we conclude with power without adding anything extra. And you will continue to uplift not only the mentee that you talked about in your speech, but anyone else who gets an opportunity to listen, to speak, and interact with you. All the best in your uplifting journey.
Thank you very much to our first evaluator who evaluated speaker number one. So he evaluated the content and then the delivery. We will now move on to our language evaluator. Remember, we are an advanced club, and evaluate we shall. Toastmaster Dan Odero, are you ready to deliver your feedback in terms of language to our first speaker? I see you, Dan. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster Arether. Going on to Fatma, your language usage. I think you had a great preparation of the language usage. You've excelled in it, using analogies that you connect, and some of them things that you said, two sides of the same coin, and you brought that up twice. Two sides of the same coin. You didn't ask me to talk about the language fitted in well, how you talked about it. Some of the things that you probably would have finished when you said you shelved aside, shelved your plans. Instead of saying shelved aside, probably what you could have said, just shelved and aside is overuse of that connotation. But well done with that. You also brought in the word of the day when you first began, how you say you're an ardent learner, but the language usage was good all through your speech. You had good analogy, good showing, and that made us paint a picture in our minds and very well. And also your language was also when you came out and you paced it well, very well done like that. All in all, I say congratulations on that, on your delivery, and the language usually was top notch. Thank you, and back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much. Our grammar evaluator, Dan Odero. We will now proceed to the second speaker's evaluation. The second speaker this evening will be evaluated by DTM Manohar, who is logging in all the way from Hyderabad, India. It is our pleasure to be having you in our meeting. Over to you, DTM Manohar.
Before I start, can I get the permission to share slide?
I believe that our SA will do that for you.
Yeah, is disabled.
Over to you, DTM Manohar.
Yeah. Okay, very good evening. I'm very happy to be your speech evaluator. I'm going to be talking from the Toastmaster perspective, the three areas which we are supposed to monitor or rather refer. I've been an ardent listener of your speech, and I wanted to tell you one of the good things you have done. The good thing is you had a great slides presentation. Excellent. Can we all give him a big applause? Great, excellent. You also had a good interaction with the audience. I'm sure you all agree with me. Wasn't? My friend, your speech was very meaningful, and it was the topic was a very related topic. When in Rome, great. Before I take you to the other one, I want to tell you, you had in each of the slides different words written. And my suggestion to you, if because this is an advanced club, I wanted to tell you a few things that you cannot be having a lot of words in your slide. The people's concentration will be on reading, like all of you are reading my slide round. I can understand that. So the more you project only the figures, people will be seeing that, but you had a lot of words and people were attempting to read, including myself. The subject is all about presentation, using different presentation software, not just slides alone. You could have used a different slide. You could have had some prop there. You could have used many other items. So my suggestion is, if you could do all this, it will be in a good presentation. One, your speech will have a very good value. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 11 slides. I think that was not required. You could have add few slides, like one slide, click that so that only in one side it goes on. I could see you had 3 plus 6. Yeah, it was 11 slides. So maybe you should reduce the number of slides, but have in the same slide the words coming in and the other ones that disappeared. The speaking timing, I could see that you spoke for 7 minutes and 39 seconds. And you know your timing is all about 5 minutes to 7 minutes to 7 minutes. So what I would say is use this technique of speaking only for 6 minutes. Thereby, if you have to interact with people, you can conclude within the 7 minutes. So my overall suggestion to you is, I appreciate you have done a great presentation. You had a fantastic audience interaction, but the number of slides and the wordings, if it could have been there, it would have been nice. Thank you, and over to you, General Evaluator, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, DTM Manohar, for that evaluation. I hope you can hear me because I feel like yes, I had frozen there in time, but thank you. Thank you for that evaluation, DTM Manohar. And I believe that our speakers are better because of the feedback that they do get. We will now move on to our second speaker's delivery. Evaluation of our second speaker's delivery. And this will be evaluated by Dean Robertson. Dean, could you kindly tell us where you're logging in from, and then you can move on to evaluation.
Well, thank you. I will be more than happy to. I am from Houston, Texas. I'm over here in the United States. So it's 12:13 here, so it's later where you're at, but I'm just getting my day started. And I want to applaud Kevin. The first thing that I really liked when I first saw your clothing, because of it being red and having those designs on it, I thought it was something Christmassy, and I love Christmas, especially when you have the hat on. But now that I have you looking fully at my screen, I see that it's not really Christmas, but it can almost be like Christmas. The white looked like it was little snow trickles. But I loved your appearance. It gave me, I felt warmth. I felt engaged. So you definitely exceeded my expectations in your appearance. You had a great smile. All those things I think is really important for a speaker, to make sure you put your audience at ease, whether you're in the virtual platform or live face-to-face. Smiling and adding some humor, and definitely with that outfit, you're definitely going to cause people to be warm. And it was such an ardent presentation. I hope I used the word properly. Your voice. Now, there's one thing that I could ask for you to improve on, was the voice. Even though you did well, but I felt like most of your presentation was at like a higher pitch, a certain tone, and I would have loved to have seen a little bit more fluctuation as far as maybe getting softer, or just even your pace. Your pace seemed like it was going pretty quick. There's times that you could have threw in the pause, especially when you were doing the part of when in Rome. You could have did your hand gestures like, and plop plop, fizz fizz. You probably don't know that commercial. That's my age. But your voice was great, other than trying to put a little bit more vocal variety. And then your gestures, however, was fun. I thought they were great. I loved your gestures. I do think that there is some room for improvement. When you were doing the threes, I forget exactly what you were saying, but you had said here and then here and then here. Since you were showing your whole body pretty much, it would have been great if you actually moved and did this point, and then the center for that point, and then the third for that point. That way we can see you're actually moving and you're using the fullness of your presentation screen. Other than that, I would just ask that maybe throw in a little bit more vocal variety as far as your loudness, and maybe getting soft, using the pause, and then of course your gestures I thought was excellent, and your appearance was good. Tempo was great, but it would have been great too to have a little bit of a slower pace when you were trying to emphasize a certain point. And of course, having us do the when in Rome, it would be great to have that pause to go, and the audience says, yeah, okay, great. Thank you so much for a great ardent speech and presentation. I wish you well on your Toastmasters journey, and thank you so very much for me being here. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas, Dean. Thank you for that evaluation. Thank you for making the time all the way from Houston, Texas, in the US. We appreciate your presence here. Now we will move on to our grammar evaluation. Toastmaster Dan Odero, are you there? Please give us an evaluation of the speaker's language usage.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. And thank you, Eric. You chose your speech well, and you put in what you had promised for us. You're taking, first of all, talking about taking this language, taking this analogy to language, the analogy you used. Your language was rich, things like adding verb, fantastic use of the word English language there. Aesthetically pleasing. The whole thing was aesthetically pleasing because you put it in and you weaved the thing out, the whole language out there, and made us see and enjoyed also listening to you. And then you talked about invites us to, when you talked about English language, invites us to see ourselves, likely put, this little language all beautifully thrown together. You chose your words well, they fit in, they were appropriate, they were clear for our understanding, made it also bring out the picture of what we're seeing well there. And then your pronunciation was also great pronunciation of all the words. Well done with that. That helps us. It gives the whole speech, the body, much more enjoyable, as you say, aesthetically pleasing to our ears. Thank you for that great use of the English language. And this is it from me. I thank you for that. All I say, tick for you, and great all the way. And back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Grammarian Dan Odero. We will now move on to our, now, Mr. President Kevin, do we also vote in this aspect? We do vote. So Kevin Rubia, please bring up the poll. And we have 4 votes there: Kevin Rubia, Dan Odero, DTM Manohar, and DTM Dean Robertson. Feedback is indeed the breakfast of champions. I believe that if you get succinct and regular feedback, that you could be living within your purpose, because you know how to correct your path, you know how to adjust and recalibrate. Kevin, I believe we are good to go.
Yes, 77%. We are good to go.
Oh, good. That's a pass. Fabulous. Toastmasters and guests, we are at the tail end of our meeting. And because we don't have that much time, I would love to share this diagram. And, you know, what does it contain? It encapsulates, there's a word there that I find so hard to pronounce, encapsulate. Ikigai encompasses what you love, what the world needs, what you can be paid for, and what you are good at. It sounds fairly simple, but it does take a while. I feel that it takes quite almost a lifetime to really come together with all these things. But I believe that as Toastmasters, we are really living in our purpose. For you to find a Toastmasters club in your area and to sign up and to go across the borders, across the oceans, to attend a certain Toastmasters meeting, I believe that you're living within your purpose because you're probably most likely doing what you love. As Toastmasters, we probably came to become better speakers. We came to become better leaders. We came to network, and therefore we continue to live in our purpose. We will now call upon our reports. I see that our timekeeper has been sharing the different timing aspects. So allow me to call upon our grammarian to give us an overview of how we have performed in our language use, as well as usage of the time of the word of the day. And then I will come to you, Maggie. You look surprised. All right, over to you, Dan, to give us a quick feedback of how we did in terms of our grammar usage this evening.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the day. First of all, the word of the word of the day was used well within the meeting. We had Kevin use it twice. We had Fatima use it once. We had Eric use it twice there. So that was a good use of the language. Now, the word ardent. Some of our language usage, sometimes when we speak, we've got sometimes some of us had a bit of Kenyanese in there. And from the Toastmaster of the day, he was saying something like, we will continue engaging each other. I think we will engaging each other probably probably will continue engaging. So each other probably goes into marriage and things like that. But anyway, so maybe could have used it differently there. And then after the speeches, also, Madam Toastmaster, you had said we have now completed our 2 speeches where none of us spoke. We had those 2 speakers. So we come to the end of our speaking. So maybe that one, just something to think about. And when we are introducing now the table topics master, I got a little confused because introducing our table topics session, who is our president? So I was wondering whether the session was a president or the session was about, so probably just a use of the language there. That's what I thought. We then went on to others who were, it was okay. We had a tabletop, the table talks talked about a word that seemed to challenge them a little bit. Pivotal, it's actually pivotal. Pivotal is the word, so he struggled there. It's just simple pivotal, as it is said. And at times when we get challenged with words, how to say them, one of the good things is to go to Google, you Google the word, and then it has got a voice there to tell you how the words are said. So that's an easy way to, when you're not so sure about, just go in there and just pick it out. It gives you that. Other usage was okay. We had Fatima once saying, I squeezed my lunchtime. I squeezed my lunchtime. So I wonder how lunchtimes are squeezed. Probably meant I squeezed some time out. Maybe a different one would say, I squeezed some time out of my lunch break. And but all in all, I think our language usage was passable, and we had a good English language, a good we did well with it. And there's always room for improvement as we go along. I remember the first time I was a grammarian, I remember hitting the grammarian role, I sweated. That was in 2010 when I was told grammarian, I was sweating. I almost had my legs shaking and sweat telling my chat, but it's an easy thing to do. Just mention the ways how words can be used and the better way. Thank you, and back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much for that feedback. I see we are really out of time, and I see that our timer has posted her feedback. So it means that we can now move on to our GE to give us succinct general evaluation. We do apologize for running a little bit late, but we appreciate that everyone can give their feedback within the allotted time. Over to you, General Evaluator Nelly Ayodo.
Thank you very much for coming back to me. Do I have to call the report, or shall I just give my report directly? In the interest of time?
Please, we've already called for reports. Go ahead and give your own report. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. My own report is first and foremost is the time. The agenda says that we finish at 8:30. The time allocation for the timer, the grammarian, and the general evaluator were not slotted. Therefore, we are running over time. We were slotted for 8:17 or 8:11, and now it's about 8:28. 2 minutes to go. I liked the arrangement of the whole meeting. Speaker one, I like that you use dialogue. It helped make the speech very alive and engaging. For the Toastmaster, I like that you explained Ikigai and you asked each one of us what we felt about Ikigai. That was very well explained to all of us. Next time, please, there are double roles. People there are taking double roles like Dan. Winnie, I think, is a Toastmaster. Maybe you could have allocated her the grammarian's role so that she also is active in today's meeting, and that would have eased Dan's role. Dan would have just done the evaluations. I felt that Kevin Rubia, when I came to this meeting, since it's an advanced meeting, I came to get educated. Kevin Rubia, you gave very good evaluations. I feel educated and I feel elated. Dan Odero, your evaluations were very good. I think you're used to this because you belong to one advanced Toastmaster Club. So you gave us very good recommendations and very good feedback. Manoha, you gave excellent feedback. You even went as far as giving us a slide to see how you gave the evaluations. That was very detailed and very well done. The feedback was very good for us to get educated, to follow, especially what not to do. I like evaluator Dean Robertson. He boosted Eric's ego. I think the purpose of evaluation is to also boost people's ego. And I could see that Eric was feeling very pleased with himself, with the recommendations he was given. All in all, I think the meeting was very exciting. I felt educated, I felt elated, and I felt that the meeting was entertaining. Back to you, Madam Toastmasters.
Thank you very much, our general evaluator, for that succinct evaluation. We will definitely strive to do better with the time management. Toastmasters and guests, it's been my privilege to be your Toastmaster of the day with this theme, Ikigai. What do you love to do? What can you get paid for? What does the world need? And what are you good at? I do recommend that you read this book. I will post the author of the book, and I hope that you can have an amazing rest of the quarter 2024. We are in the final stretch of the year 2024, and I hope that you continue living in your purpose. Over to you, Mr. President.
Absolutely amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome you to switch on your cameras, switch on your microphones, and join me in giving a very strong round of applause to our Toastmaster of the Day, Arether Wanjiru, future DTM. Thank you so much for such a wonderful theme. I liked the way you conducted the meeting with a lot of enthusiasm. We saw you packed vim and verve, and you really brought it out. Thank you so much. I'd encourage you to take up the role more and more. All right. Forwards and onwards, I would like to move to the polls. And I would ask if the polls are ready, Kevin Rubia.
Yes, we have the results.
Let us start with the results. Yes.
Fantastic. Okay, you guys are seeing the answers.
Not yet.
Oh, good. My laptop may have hanged. However,
could proceed to read them out. We give you the drum rolls.
And hear me. Oh, great. They're here.
So
we will begin with our best speaker, and that's none other than Winnie C. Congratulations, Winnie. And please join us again. Let us know, are you a Toastmaster? Are you visiting? Are you a guest? Let us know in the chat. And you can also let us know your full name so that we can put it there. Best evaluator, none other than yours truly. Congratulations. And then last and certainly not least is our best speaker. To all speakers, well done. And a special well done to Eric Mwangi Karaoke. Thank you all for participating. Back to you, President.
Thank you so much, Kevin Rubia, for that presentation, and congratulations to all the better speakers that have emerged to us in today's particular meeting. As you join Watabaruku, we continue to sharpen our skills and grow from better to best. At this point, I'd like to thank everyone for an incredible meeting today. Your energy and enthusiasm made this truly a special session. I'd like to take a moment to recognize all our speakers, evaluators, and role players for their valuable contributions. Each of you brought your unique strengths and insights, showcasing the spirit that defines our club. To our guests, thank you for joining us today. We hope that you enjoyed the experience. And at this point, I'd like to just give a few guests an invite to give us a little bit of feedback on how they found our meeting. And I will go over to you, David. We haven't heard your voice today. Over to you, David. David, if you're not there, I'll pass this opportunity to Adanje Chibole.
Apologies, please come again.
Thank you so much, Adanje. I would wish that you introduce yourself and give us a little bit of feedback on how you found our meeting today.
Oh, thank you for that. My name is Chibole Andanje from Almasi Toastmaster. We are a corporate club of Kenya Revenue Authority under Area 8 of District 114. I found the club enriching the content of Ikigai. I managed to catch just one speech because my network was fluctuating about the food in Rome. So that was quite interesting. And also it's my first time at Watabaruku, and just listening to the content, delivery, and grammar or language evaluation was a new lens to look at it. So I have learned a lot. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Adanje Chibole from Almasi Toastmasters. I will give this last opportunity to Shiro N. We haven't heard you speak, I don't think. Give us some feedback on how you found our meeting today. Over to you, Shiro. If Shiro is not available, I will pass this over back to Winnie C, our winner. Some feedback from you.
Thank you so much. I'm a Toastmaster of an online Toastmaster club. It's called Empowering Ladies Toastmaster, and I'm privileged to have been a guest on our visiting Toastmaster today. I enjoyed part of the speeches because I didn't get to hear all of them from the beginning. I also loved that we have people logging in from everywhere, and I enjoyed the evaluation. I learned from other people's evaluation too, so it's such a privilege to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Winnie C, for gracing us with your presence tonight, and we hope to see you more and more. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with a thought to carry into your weekend. The only limit of our realization of tomorrow will be our doubts of today. This is a quote from Franklin D. Roosevelt. Let us therefore embrace our potential and push beyond the limits. With that, I officially close our meeting. Have a wonderful evening ahead. And I look forward to seeing all of you on our next meeting, which will be on October the 18th. Keep growing, inspiring, and remember that Watabaruku transformation is just around the corner. Thank you so much. And that is the end of our meeting, number 102. Thank you, all of you who joined us from abroad, from local. We really hope to see you again as we continue.